Good morning.
Good
Good
morning, ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
Still 1 minute, so we can say good morning. Yes, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, good
Good
morning.
morning, ma'am.
Morning. So let's begin. Today we are going to begin with start with the new unit, Doll's House. It's unit 3. 1 and 2 we have completed, right? And in this unit 3, the drama that you have in your syllabus is Doll's House. A Doll's House, right? And the name of the playwright, the dramatist, is Henrik Ibsen. Okay, now this play will be of your interest because of the gender that you belong to. And King Lear, we were in Renaissance period, and in this Doll's House, we are dealing with 19th century, late 19th century. And the dramatist also belongs to the nationality that you have never studied till now. The dramatist is from Norway. Norway is one of the Scandinavian country. And let me tell you that at present, uh, this Norway or all the Scandinavian countries, their women have got equal rights, and they are treated equal to males, whether legally, socially, economically, in each and every way. But this was not same in 19th century. There was gender discrimination in 19th century. And this play comes in the category because in unit 1 we studied how many kinds of play are there. And there we saw there are so many kinds of play, and in 19th century the kind of play that came into existence was problem play, or uh, problem play, realistic play, naturalistic play. This play is also known as modern tragedy because in unit 1 we dealt with what is tragedy in Aristotelian terms. According to Aristotle, tragedy can only befall people of high station, the kings, the royal people. When they meet with their downfall, then it is tragedy, not the middle class people. Right? But in this play, we see that it's a story of a middle class family of Norway, a Norwegian middle class family. And it's a tragedy, though the central character is women. According to Aristotle, the tragedy also always takes place with men, men of high station. But here the central character is women from middle class family. So it's called modern tragedy. Okay, not a classic tragedy. So what you have to remember so far that important points that it is the 19th century modern tragedy from Norway by a Norwegian dramatist, Henrik Ibsen. I think so far it's clear.
Yes, ma'am.
It, it was not written in English language, it was later translated into English language. Okay, the main character of the story of this modern tragedy of this drama is Nora. Nora is the name of the woman, Nora Helmer. Her husband is Torvald Helmer, right? So far, these were the points that you need to remember. Now see the title. Let's take notice of the title of the play, A Doll's House. Now, young girls are given a doll to play, and if the parents are affluent, they even give a house for the doll. And those who do not give, then the children themselves they build a house, a doll's house, and their doll does what we want doll to do. So this is something the status of the women in society. They have to behave as a doll. So it is a British term. Americans also in the West this culture is more prevalent, but even in India we find doll's house. That is the title. Now this title will become more clear as we go through the play. So before we begin, I would like all of you to switch on your videos, and let's have a picture of a participants gallery, and after that I'll begin with my presentation. So please switch on your video cameras, and let's meet with each other, and then we can begin with the presentation. Good. Sejal Goyal, I am unable to see you. Anisha Sharma, Astha Upadhyay. Please switch on your cameras. And now can I begin with the presentation? May I?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Shaurya? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I can recognize Shaurya also, though her name is not coming on the screen. Okay. So now I'll begin with the presentation. And this is the picture that I selected for Doll's House. I think this picture appropriately discusses how women are identified by their physical body rather than their mental capabilities and capacities. Right? So this aptly describes that. Now, someone is there in lobby. Let me allow Ishita Agarwal. Okay. So we now continue with this. I have sent you one quote also. This quote is by US Justice, first women justice from US. On WhatsApp group I have sent it. And the quote, if you would have seen, says that she requested that what according to her, she says that she's not a feminist, but she says that I ask no favor from my sex, for my sex, that is for women. I ask no favor for my sex. All I ask of my brethren is that they take their feet off our necks. So this is a wonderful way of stating that she just wants to be treated equally. She wants to, or she wanted Americans to feel that even women have thinking abilities. So it's a wonderful quote by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You can search her on net. There's also a documentary that has come for of 2 hours on the life of this wonderful, respectable women from US, justice from US.
Yes, ma'am, she died recently only.
Yeah, I think this year in 20 or 2019, she
This
met
year only she died like a few months back.
few months
Everyone
back.
was, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Since
I was not very,
everyone would speak about him on social
okay.
media.
Yeah. Social media, yes. We went through all. She met with her death at the age of 85, and till the very last date, I think she was working. Now coming back to the play. It's a realistic drama, modern prose drama, because drama was written in verse form. You saw in King Lear also, the drama was written in verse form. The language is Norwegian and it later was translated. 1879, that's the exact year. Okay, and 1879 it was published, it was played. The tone is serious, intense, somber, and setting is in late 1870s Norway. The protagonist is Nora Helmer. This is the introduction of the playwright. Usually you find that women-centered themes are dealt by women, but here Henrik Ibsen has wonderfully dealt with the theme of the novel, of the drama, and is a well-known Norwegian playwright. Realism, naturalism is found in his drama, and he gives the picture of the contemporary life on stage, how the life is as it is on the stage. Drama is made serious because it's a mirror of the society, and at the same time his dramas are the stern monitor of his age. Like the monitor minds the class and sees that the class is in discipline. In a similar way, Henrik Ibsen, with a very critical eyes, he views the society and gives his own viewpoint. It's a social drama, and this is another drama of his, Pillars of the Society. Again, this drama also exposes hypocrisy and degradation of the community leaders. It was published in 1877, and in 1879 we got Doll's House. The protagonist of the novel, of the drama, she's a protagonist because she is going against the ways of the society. She has that confidence in her. She's portrayed as an assertive woman, though in the beginning she seems to be very weak, conforming, compliant. So women's assertion of her independence and individuality. Individuality, because women are often seen as they are identified by their roles, what they're playing. Are they mother, are they wife, sister, daughter? But here, assertion of her individuality, of her identity, by breaking off her family bonds. Then some other plays of Henrik Ibsen are also mentioned here. Now this play, Doll's House, 1879. As we have seen, it's a realistic social play. Status of women in society and status of women in marriage. In marriage, what is the status? Right from the moment the girl is married, even before that, we see that her status is considered to be second to her men. Man is at the first position, dominating role, and a woman is in submissive role. Man is a master, right? So it is a total plea for women's rights. Just by getting women's voting rights, a woman doesn't get empowered. She is not treated as a responsible member of the society who can carry out her responsibilities without being told or directed by a male member. So this kind of social prejudice caught Ibsen's attention, and that is what is expressed in this play, Doll's House. Nora Helmer, who appears to be doll in the beginning, Act 1, the play is in 3 acts. So in Act 1, the status of Nora Helmer is a doll in a house of Torvald Helmer. And in the last act, that is third act, she raises herself to the status of individual who knows her own rights and is capable of taking her own decisions. So we can say that the chief theme, the main theme of this play is emancipation of self, self-emancipation. How Nora Helmer emancipates herself. Then there are other minor themes also, like some laws, they are very stringent and they do not do justice. Then certain diseases are genetic diseases. Okay. So he says that the ideas that in a society, as a social institution we have formed, the ideas that we have formed about the duties, what is loyalty, the definition of loyalty, these all things, they sometimes prevent person from realizing their own self. So this is what is there in the play. How to have why are women only morally obliged to their to do their duties? This moral term is always attached with any action of women, not with the other gender.
Ma'am,
Yes.
so can you please switch back to the last slide? I have a small question. Ma'am, what is the meaning of "it is not the prerogative of man alone to militate against those social institutions, obsolete ideas"?
It is not the prerogative of men. It is men who are always taking. Someone is again in. It is not only. It is always men, who are deciding that what is morally correct and what is morally wrong. This decision, this prerogative, this goes only to the males in the family, or in the society, or in any group. So, duty, loyalty, obligations, these terms, who decides whose duty is what?
Men have this.
Who decides that who should be loyal and in what way one should be loyal? These decisions, they are always taken by men.
Yeah.
Right. So he is boldly asserting that this kind of decision, even women, they are thinking beings. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thinking beings, because women have been treated as they are always seen through the eyes that they are the ones who are reproductive beings. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Their chief function in the family is procreation, and then fulfilling all domestic duties. Right. And rest of the world is taken care of by men. Right. So women to have equal right for to the freedom of self.
Okay.
Right. This is what this means. Now, can we move to the next one?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. So here you see the cage, and you see a doll's house. It is men who can walk away from this house with respectability and perform his duties in the outer world. But it's the woman who is caged in. If she once comes out of the house, it should be along with men. But if she moves out alone, she won't be seen with respect. Right? So that is women's position. Remember that it is 19th century Norway that we are discussing. Right? So this play charts or maps Nora's progressive growth, how she grows. Along with her growth, she progresses, moves ahead in self-realization. Girls right from the birth, they are made to believe that they have to obey. Obedience is the chief characteristic that any girl should have. This happens right from the birth. She has to obey her father, her brother, and then when she is married, her husband, and then in-laws. Right? Now here Nora, from this kind of state, there's a progressive growth that takes place in her, and she understands that self-realization, understanding what are the parts that you have in you, right? And from being a caged songbird, one who entertains by her melody, by her music, and remains caged songbird. That is what a woman is. Dependent squirrel. This is what her husband calls lovingly, my little squirrel, in the novel, in this drama. Husband always calls her squirrel, my little squirrel. So squirrel is someone who is always on an alert, and squirrel is a dependent being, very weak, treated as very weak. From this kind of state, she becomes, through self-realization, reliant. Reliance. This reliance again is on her husband. So she has to become self-reliant. So these are the characteristics that she has in the beginning, that she is a caged songbird, dependent squirrel, and totally reliant, totally dependent on her husband. Not only for economic security, but also for emotional security. Otherwise, if husband doesn't support women, then woman is all vulnerable. She can be harmed. So it is husband who gives that security, that kind of safety, not only to her economic well-being, but also to emotional well-being. From here, she is from whose eyes the scales have fallen. Now, husband it is husband who decides whether women is complying or not. His wife is complying or not. So she has to keep herself loving in the eyes of the husband. But here, as the play progresses towards the end, last act of the play, Nora gains this self-awareness. And she realizes that she is dependent on her husband, and it's stifling, it's suffocating to her. A husband's love is conditional. Husband will love as long as she will obey. Love can be conditional, love can be unconditional. Unconditional means when a person is truly in love with someone, he will accept, or she will accept, the weaknesses of the other person also. Surrender is from both sides. But in this case, we see that man never surrenders. And that act of surrendering is expected only from the wife. So Nora becomes aware of this. And through all the turmoils and ups and downs that she faces, she gains this courage to turn her back upon a catastrophic existence, that she will no more be caged in. She will move out of the cage. As a daughter, her childhood, though the play takes place at Helmut's place, but through Nora we come to know, through her husband we come to know of Nora's childhood also. She is a daughter of a government official, and she used to help her father in looking into accounts. There she had met Tuvald, her husband, Tuvald Heimer.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah.
there is the line, the third line, I think, or fourth line, where Noora says, no, it is written that sorry, economic security to a young woman from whose eyes the scales have fallen. So the scales have fallen means what? That she has realized, or the scales have fallen means the gender.
You will realize what the scales are. We would be discussing the scales.
The
That
duties
what are not duties, but what are the conditions that she has to abide by in order to gain her husband's love, acceptance by the husband.
So
right,
in the end, she doesn't care about those.
We will see that. We'll come to
Okay.
that, right? As the play progresses, we'll come to that. So as young women, she falls in love with Towel, and they marry. And while she is working with her father, she gets married. She comes to her husband's house, right? See, again, the picture suggests that how she is just a puppet. The strings are, the other end of the strings are in the hands of a man. That's a man's hand. Maybe father, maybe husband. So by the time the play opens, they had been married for 9 years. They are having children also. And soon after marriage, it happens that during the story, we'll see how it happens that Helmer, he falls ill. And Nora's father is also on his deathbed. Now she doesn't want to ask her father because he himself is not well. For money, she needs to treat for the treatment of her husband. So in place of asking father for money for the treatment of her husband, she is secretly borrowing the money from Krogstad. And she has not asked her sick husband also, who is not well. He doesn't know that Nora is borrowing money from someone, and she borrows money from a character named Krogstad. And when you are borrowing money, you have to give the promissory note that the money will be returned. Now here what she does, because her signature would carry no meaning, she forges her father's signature, which is illegal. Right, father is not well, husband is not well, she wants treatment for her husband, but she doesn't have money. She cannot ask her father because he himself is on deathbed. So what she does is that she forges signature of her father and takes a loan from Krogstad. And after the treatment, Helmer is saved. And she secretly pays off that loan. Right? And after everything has happened, she is not seriously bothered by her concealment, as in her mind it is justified because of her love for her husband. She has done this act to save her husband's life. And she has returned the money also. In the beginning, when they are newly married, they have some problems with money. So after some years of frugal living, Helmer gets a well-paid job as a manager of a bank. He becomes a bank manager. Right? And this Krogstad, from whom she had borrowed the money, is a clerk in the same bank where Helmer is now manager. He's promoted. He himself was a clerk and now he's promoted to the position of a manager. Shall we move?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So here. Now this Krogstad, his character seems dubious. And he has been doing something with the bank money. So Helmer wants to dismiss Krogstad from his job. And this agitates Krogstad. He wants to save his job. So he goes to Nora. And he tells Nora, in a kind, he is blackmailing Nora. he says that he knows that she had forged her father's signature, who is now dead. And he tells Nora. Nora is very innocent. She doesn't know that how serious this crime is. So he tells Nora that you have committed a very serious and very criminal act, and you can be imprisoned for it. You can be jailed for it. But Nora says that she had taken the money, she has returned it back, her husband is safe, and she hasn't done anything to harm anyone. And her motive was love for her husband. She didn't want to disturb her father also, so she had forged the signature because he was dead. He did not want. She did not want to cause any kind of problem to her father, so she didn't go to her father. But Krogstad wants to save his job, so he says that no, he is going to tell the secret to Helma. And Nora is so frightened that she doesn't want this thing to come out before Helma. The scale that she knows that her husband would will not accept forgery done by her by his wife.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because she knows that the moral standards of toward Helmer will not accept that the wife, his own wife, has done bank forgery, and he himself is the bank manager.
Yes, ma'am. She believes that he's a man of principle. And
Yeah,
okay.
and how he may. It is her own love. It is her, yes, it is her own love for her husband that had made her commit this act, but the husband will not accept this act.
Yes, ma'am.
So she is so frightened that she is forced to intercede for him with her husband with a request that he be reinstated, that don't dismiss him from the job. She's scared of, and she's being blackmailed, and so she wants that Krogstad should be reinstated in the job, so that this kind of information should not leak out. But Hammer, he would not accept this money game that Krogstad has been doing till now in the bank. So he is unaffected. Right. So now Nora is helpless, and Krogstad, he threatens that this whole situation, he writes a letter to Helmer where he reveals this whole situation. Now what happens next? We shall be dealing with that in our next class. And you can search the play on net, you will get the play, and if you want you can read that play, and it's not going to be very difficult like that Renaissance play by Shakespeare that we have done. There the English was very I know it was very different, but yeah, and this is in prose form and in English that you can understand, so you can go through the play, and the rest we would be doing in our next class. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
And I know at present there should be, yeah, I know at present there should be many questions in your mind, but they all will become clear along as we progress with the story of the play and we go through the play. We have got this whole month, so doubts I'm not asking you at present. Now keep those doubts in mind and keep on exploring, and next class we shall be doing. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Most welcome.